Good morning. Welcome to Cedar Lane Unitarian Universalist Church on this warm, sunny day. How are you doing? How are you doing? All right. It's a very special day here today at Cedar Lane as we gather to celebrate a very important and joyous rite of passage to some of our youth, some who will be bridging in and others who will be bridging out. And we will find out more as the service progresses. At this time, I welcome one and all, whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on life's journey, and whatever your life circumstance, you are welcome here. If you are a newcomer and visiting us for the first time, and feel comfortable doing so, would you mind raising your hand so we may recognize you and welcome you? Welcome. We're so glad you're here. Keep those hands raised because we have a special gift for you. Thank you so much for choosing to worship with us this day. After the service, there will be an opportunity for members, friends, and newcomers to have some libations, have coffee, tea, or hopefully some punch, because this day demands some punch or lemonade, and a chance to get to know one another. And if you're a newcomer, you are welcome to pick up a yellow mug, because here at Cedar Lane, yellow means yellow. And our members will make sure to greet you and offer a special welcome to Cedar Lane. At this time, I also have a few announcements, which I would like to point you to the special insert in your order of celebration. The yellow page has a number of announcements of upcoming events. Please feel free to browse through them. And before I share a few additional announcements, I invite you now to place your cell phones on worship mode. Someone has left a cell phone on the back table. If you placed it intentionally, thank you, but if not, please, one of our youth. Our pastoral visitors are present every Sunday to provide support and a ministry of presence to those among us who may be going through a life challenge or a life transition. If you would like to meet with a pastoral associate, please feel free to stop by the Joys and Sorrows table to my right after the service. The pastoral associate on call will be present there. Also, we are now recruiting for worship associates for the coming church year, which begins in the fall. And if you're interested to be a worship associate, where you get to be a part of the service and lead some of the portions of the service and also offer reflections from time to time, this is a good time for you to apply to be considered as a worship associate. We go through a process of selection and invite our worship associates to join the team. If you are a worship associate, would you please rise so people may see you? All right. So our worship associates will be available after the service if you have any questions about what it means to be a worship associate. Also, you may have heard that we are having a trip to the U.S.-Mexico border in October 21st through the 26th. Reverend Archine had led a powerful service in May talking about immigration and the need for immigration reform, and sharing more about the lives of immigrants who go through serious challenges to make their way across the border to the United States, to seeking safety and well-being for themselves and their families. If this is something that you've been thinking about and are interested in, the opportunity is still open to consider registering for this trip. Feel free to speak to me after the service, and I'll be happy to share with you more details. And next Sunday, June 19th, we will be welcoming a special guest from India, Mahesh Bhupathi. He works with the UUA's Holding India program, which is an amazing program that the UUA has been facilitating for more than 30 years now, in providing partnerships with non-governmental organizations that work on social justice issues in India. And Mahesh is one of the partners who works with Holding India program, and he will be visiting us at Cedar Lane. He will be a part of the service, but following the service, we're hoping to have a gathering where you get a chance to meet Mahesh and also know more about his work and Holding India's work. So I hope you will plan on joining us next Sunday, as well as getting to meet and know Mahesh. With that, I also have one last announcement, which now I'm blanking out on. Michelle, you had mentioned the announcement. Why don't you come and make it, so I'm not trying to figure it out.
Have you ever wondered what our church says to those who are new? I wonder this a lot, and I hope you can help me out in figuring that out today. If you would like to help us out and put some fresh eyes on to see what Cedar Lane says, at the end of the service, come on up to the front of the sanctuary, and we'll each get a little story about a first visit and get to go and look around our grounds and see what they say and then share our thoughts. So right after the service today at the front of the sanctuary. Thank you.
And now if you would take a moment and greet your immediate neighbor. Let us center ourselves, inviting our mind, body, and spirit into this space made sacred by our presence, this space where the holy pervades. Let us take a moment now and breathe in. Hold your breath. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Let us worship.
Please rise in body or in spirit to sing with us hymn number 361, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In. This is our chapel welcome song that the youth asked for especially today to start off our service.
If you know the signs, you can sign along with us.
Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in.
Open your hearts, everyone.
Open your hearts to the song. Open your hearts to the song. Today will be a joyful day. Open your heart to the song. Open your ears to the song. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in.
Don't be afraid of some change.
Don't be afraid of some change. Don't be afraid of some change. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in.
Enter, rejoice, and come in.
Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in.
Infectious joy, that's what that is. We come together now to worship. Spirit calls to spirit. Hand reaches out to hand. Heart joins with heart. Voice lifts with voice, a song of praise. Come, let us worship together. As the seniors come forward to light the chalice, the word courage comes from the Latin cor, which means heart. According to poet Mark Nepo, the original use of the word courage meant to stand by one's core, a striking concept that reinforces the belief found in almost all traditions that living from the center is what enables us to face whatever life has to offer.
To encourage means to hearten, to impart strength and confidence. This is our work as a religious community, to encourage one another, to be bold in engaging the world around us, as well as what scares us internally, to give one another the confidence and heart to live as fully as possible. Please rise in body or in spirit to speak with us the chalice lighting words.
With full hearts, we affirm our relationships with one another. We recognize our agency and our connective power. And we accept our responsibility to be bold and courageous. We light this chalice, symbol of that we are, all that we have done together, and all that we will be as our shared ministry encourages those within and beyond our walls. Please remain as you are, and let's sing together. Blue Boat Home, hymn number 1064 in your teal hymnal.
Below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean. Still my triumphant heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. Wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun my sail and moon my rudder, as I ply the starry
We gather in this sacred circle of community to find strength, the spiritual, emotional, and even physical strength to face the many challenges of our lives. In this time of reflection, we lift up those in our community who are living through significant passages, the small and extraordinary milestones of life.
We pause to be present to our spiritual companions and to the concerns of our own hearts. May all who gather here be held in the embrace of this community of care. We begin by acknowledging the shooting tragedy at a gay club in Orlando early this morning, where at least 20 people were killed, including the shooter, and another 42 are injured. Our thoughts and prayers are with the bereaved as they wake up to this horrifying tragedy. We share our condolences with Melissa Ferguson for the loss of her grandmother, Marita Mostrovsky of Iowa, who died this past week. And we are sorry to announce the death of Cedar Lane member Louise Seidman.
May these friends of ours and all that lives unspoken in our hearts be held in the embrace of prayer and in the peace that the stillness of silence brings.
Our prayer this morning is by Rick Hoyt, and I specially chose it for our graduating and bridging seniors and middle school students, but also for all of us as we go about our journeys. I invite you to settle back in your seat, take a nice breath, and prepare yourselves for a moment of prayer. Go forth, because we are always going forth from somewhere, going from our homes, our childhoods, going from our cities and our countries, going from innocence to experience to enlightenment, going into mystery and questions, going into the desert, getting to the other side. Go forth. Leave behind the comfort and community and familiarity of one place. Head into the anxiety and loneliness of another. Carry with you the love and laughter of this place and let it light your way. Carry with you the wisdom you learned and the good memories. May they give you strength for your journey. And when you have been away long enough, far enough, done what you've set off to do, been there so long that place too starts to feel like home, come back. Come back to the one, the universal, everywhere and everywhen and everyone inclusive home. This beloved community of all creation that you can never really leave.
During this silence, those grieving a loss or commemorating an anniversary are invited to stand in mourning and memory until the hymn.
God.
of justice, whose hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of light, come to me, oh, come to me.
This morning we'll be sharing our offering plate with Pueblo a Pueblo. Imagine having no clean water to drink or cook with. Imagine having to give polluted water to your children and to your family. This is the situation that most rural Mayan communities face in Guatemala, contributing to widespread illness, malnutrition, and death, especially among infants and small children. Lack of safe water is a significant cause of the high incidence of diarrheal disease and chronic malnutrition in the communities where Pueblo a Pueblo works. With your help, however, we can make sure these families have clean water. Clay pots have been the usual solution to obtaining filtered water, but they are expensive to produce and to purchase. Pueblo a Pueblo is launching a project to locally produce these clay filters. Small enough to hold in the palm of your hand, these filters can be fitted into current plumbing or used with large plastic water containers. They'll be made using local kilns. And they can be produced relatively cheaply, only about $2 per filter. Once production is scaled up, they'll be available to the general population at the cost of production. Pueblo a Pueblo supports families and rural coffee-growing communities in the highlands of Guatemala. And thanks to our generous past donations, we have been able to implement many of their projects. Please give generously today in support of this new project for the local production of clay water filters. For this important work and the work of Cedar Lane, our morning's offering will now be gratefully received.
When I am down and oh, my soul so weary, when troubles come and my heart burdened be, then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas.
It's my parents' fault I'm here right now. The first time I came to Cedar Lane, I would have done anything to get out of going. My family had never been religious, so when my parents told me they wanted to find a church in the area to go for the community and whatnot, I was understandably nervous. I envisioned a stuffy old preacher rambling on about how we were all sinners every Sunday, while I tried not to fall asleep in my seat. I'm pretty sure the words fire and brimstone popped up a few times in my imaginings. I could not have been more wrong. The first time I came here, I went to the beginning of the service for all ages, and then left to go to the 9th grade coming of age class. And honestly, it was such a fun experience. From the beginning, I felt welcomed, wanted, and like this was somewhere that I belonged. The rest of that year, I grew closer to everyone in my grade, an experience that culminated in the yearly trip to Boston. Easily one of my favorite weeks in my life so far. It brought all of us closer together and helped me forge friendships that I hope I'll never lose. Since that year, I've gone to various youth cons in different districts, as well as General Assembly for the past 2 years, making this my 3rd year. I've met so many amazing UUs throughout the past few years, living all over the country, and a good 2/3 of my Snapchat contacts are UUs. Cedar Lane and the UU community at large has meant so much to me throughout high school, from the theater troupe I was part of based in the church, to playing Quidditch and learning about social justice projects at cons, to the incredible youth group trips, and meeting new people during coffee hour. It's always nice to see someone holding a yellow mug and getting the chance to welcome them to the church, as I was welcomed 4 years ago. Because as we all know, yellow means... I'll miss my time at Cedar Lane. I'm sure I'll go to other UU churches in the coming years, and I'm looking forward to the new communities I'll get to be a part of. But this will always be my first UU home, and I'll never forget the beautiful friends I've made here and the life-changing experiences I've had.
Walter Ellis is one of our newer members, by the way.
I thought about starting this off with a joke about how my friends thought it was weird that I liked going to church on Sundays, but I realized this isn't a time for joking. This is a time for sentiment and reflection. I've been coming to Cedar Lane for 18 years. Before I was born, my parents wanted a community. They wanted me and eventually my sister to be raised in a place that had a sense of spirituality. They wanted us to be taught values, tolerance, and love. When they found Cedar Lane and the UU faith, they knew it was right. Unlike other traditional religions, there wasn't a dogma or a doctrine. There weren't conditions or restrictions. It was a place of acceptance and exploration of the Spirit. It was a place where I could grow up and figure out who I wanted to be. I remember building pyramids during my year in Haunting House, wearing the dragon costume and proceeding for Santa Lucia and festivals and celebrations. We used to do this thing every year in chapel when we'd bring a fruit and would stick it with toothpicks and would hang it from a lattice outside, and I was always excited because somebody would bring a pomegranate and I would make sure to grab that one. I could talk about John and Linda Daniel, who went above and beyond and made our middle school years so enjoyable. I could talk about Owl. I could talk about the Boston trip and coming of age. I could talk about ski trips in Takwa, but that would take a long time, and I'd like to share with you instead how Cedar Lane shaped me and why it's so important. We, the senior class, are a very strong group, and this is in part thanks to the values instilled upon us by this church. The past 17 years is a testament to this. My group started to see our last year fall apart. Attendance was down. The structure of class changed. We had trips and activities that weren't happening, and we didn't really know what to do. We weren't sure what was going on. So we met with the ministry because we were taught that as youth in this church, we have a voice, and we were taught how to use that. We met with the ministry and we discussed things, and we worked some things out and other things just never came to fruition. So we took it upon ourselves. We organized our own winter lock-in. We organized our own ski trip. We started seeing each other outside of church on a more regular basis. We went to movies, we ate out. It was a lot of fun, and it helped make our community stronger. Being mature in the face of adversity and proactive in finding and meeting our needs is something that Cedar Lane has taught me over the years, and it's shaped me into the responsible young person I am today. I would like to thank the church for not only telling me I have a voice, but showing me how to express it. I'm now going to get a little bit more sentimental and personal. I don't talk about it much, but a few years ago, my life was flipped upside down. I was diagnosed with a fairly debilitating health condition. I spent the majority of my time bedbound. My 8th grade year was when it happened. I'd gone out of consortium for middle school. So I was entering high school, and I hadn't seen most of these kids in 3 years. I was going in a very reduced schedule. So I was going in like noon. I was leaving by 2. I went a few days a week if possible. So that was 9th grade. 10th grade was even worse. In November, I had a serious surgery to correct an artery that had become constricted, and that had just made my physical pain worse. In total, I missed 3 of the 4 quarters that year, and I didn't go a full week of school until about mid-April. After that year and the stress it put on me, I made a decision. I decided to graduate early. I wasn't socializing much. I was living in isolation pretty much, just in my room all the time. I binge watched like a bajillion series on Netflix and Hulu. I watched one anime series with 800 episodes 3 times. So I made that decision to graduate early. It was after 10th grade. I sat for my GED test. I passed it, and I got mailed my high school diploma. That fall, I started college. But while many of my friends thought it was super cool and nice that I didn't have to face junior year, it just further isolated me. I was never around kids my own age. I couldn't relate to those struggles of SAT prep and APs, and I fell off a lot of people's radar. I tell you all this not for pity, so you understand the situation I was in and why Cedar Lane is so important to me. This church was the only real constant in my life. I didn't always know what was going on with my health, if I would see friends, but I made the effort every Sunday to come to church. There I had a second family. My classmates are, as we dubbed ourselves in 9th grade, the elite squadron of Unitarian Universalist thugs. These are people I've been with for most of my life. It was during these times that we could be rowdy and rambunctious. We would laugh and have fun. Sometimes we got in trouble. We even got banned from a restaurant one time. It was during these times that I could forget that I didn't really have a life. I could forget that I was in physical pain, that I wasn't connected to my peers. We are now entering the next stages of our lives. Many of us are going off to 4-year institutions. I myself am headed to Arizona for the fall, so I'm excited for that. But while we're going to be separated by many miles, I want you all to know how much you mean to me. Thank you, Cedar Lane, and thank you, Elite Squadron.
All right, well, Alex already broke me, but I'm going to try and get through this. Okay. As you may have noticed, the majority of us here today are recent graduates, members of the class of 2016. I myself graduated on June 2nd, and following the habits I established during the past 4 years of high school, I procrastinated writing this speech until 11:53 p.m. last night. But really, writing this reflection has been the most difficult task I've ever been assigned. No English essay or college application can compare to how important these words are to me. How can I summarize the impact that Cedar Lane has had on every single aspect of my life in just a few minutes? Even more so, how can I accept that this may be the last time I ever share my thoughts openly in front of this congregation? 4 years ago, I sat in the front row next to my fellow freshmen, watching the class of 2013 share their thoughts and their tears as they bridged on into college. We had always looked up to the seniors because they were the other bubble year that had a very tight-knit group of active participants in the youth group. Whether they knew it or not, that class had an enormous impact on the rest of us as we decided that maybe it was worthwhile to stay active in our church, even if it meant getting up early on one of our precious weekend mornings that are so cherished in high school. During the service, there was some sort of glitch. I think a slideshow wouldn't play or something similar. And one of the seniors, Chris, went up on stage and kind of ad-libbed to fill the silence. He was always a funny guy, and he cracked everyone up for the first few minutes until he paused and said something to the effect of, you know, as much as I love this church, and as much as I want everything to stay the same, I really have to accept that this section of my life is over now. I can come back and visit, but I'll never be a member of the Cedar Lane Senior High Youth Group ever again. Over the past month or two, that thought has been echoing through my head over and over again. While I am standing on the precipice of college and opportunities lay boundless in front of me, many different aspects of my life are simultaneously coming to a close. A while back, our wonderful underclassmen organized a paper plate ceremony for the graduating seniors, during which they presented us with different awards, which usually included a mildly inappropriate inside joke, courtesy of Alex Green and his shockingly good memory of every embarrassing incident that's ever happened. Connor made mine and gave a little speech about our friendship. I, of course, was sobbing my eyes out, but managed to coherently realize aloud, wow, this is it. This is the beginning of the end. Cedar Lane has been by my side tirelessly since I built myself a cardboard castle in the haunting house class. This congregation has celebrated my achievements, grieved with me for my losses, and given me a reason to smile when no one else could. One of my most cherished relationships here is with our senior minister. The first time I ever met Abby was after I had given my coming-of-age speech in 9th grade. He came up to me in the receiving line, shook my hand, and asked me, "Have you ever considered joining the ministry?" From that day onwards, I understood just how lucky our church was when we found him. Abby actually wrote my letter of recommendation for 7 different colleges, all of which I was accepted to. But my favorite memory of him is from only a few months ago. Like many people, I had my first real romantic relationship in high school. The boy and I dated for 11 months before he broke my heart, conveniently the day before I was supposed to speak in a youth-led Sunday service. You might remember, instead, I was sitting in the audience with tears streaming down my face the entire time. Afterwards, Abhi brought me into his office where I poured my heart out to him. He listened intently and then paused before offering me the best advice I've ever received. "Joanna," he said, "I don't mean to stereotype here, but men are dickheads." And boy, was he right! But the most important part of my time at Cedar Lane has been my friends. I live in Rockville, and in terms of distance, I shouldn't even go to this church. If my parents had decided 11 years ago that the drive to Kensington every Sunday was too much to handle, I would never have met all of the incredible people in this youth group. Anyone who sees us interact knows that the bond that we share runs deeper than just friendship. From our travels around Boston to our coming of age, from Takawa sunsets and stargazing to Catoctin campfires and Seven Springs arcade prizes, we are more than just kids who go to church together and talk about sex and RE. This church gave me my best friend. This church gave me my second family. This church gave me a home. This church gave me everything I never knew I needed until now, when I stand face to face with the reality of losing it. My favorite hymn has always been Spirit of Life, and there's a line in it which has recently started to resonate more and more with me. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. The class of 2016 has been extraordinarily lucky to have been rooted in Cedar Lane. We have been even more lucky to have found each other and somehow grown our wings together over the past decade of our spiritual journey. As we leave our hometowns, our high schools, and our sanctuary, we embark on the journey of a lifetime. But I can assure you that you have not seen the last of us.
I'm so grateful to Cedar Lane for giving me a voice in terms of speech as well as music. Thank you. When I was beginning to appreciate and understand poetry, I found it was a lot like Unitarian Universalism. Poems can be interpreted different ways. They bring people together from all walks of life, and they stimulate deep, profound conversation. Today, I would like to share with you a poem by my favorite author, Margarita Engel. Her experiences as a teen traveling to Mexico with her family remind me of how I learned about cultural differences at Cedar Lane. Engel and I have both wondered about the same principle of understanding people and the world around us. Mysteries. One after another, afterlife visions astound me. At a village funeral, there are festive fireworks, and all of the mourners wear white instead of black. Underground, in the eerie catacombs of Guanajuato, I flee las momias, the mummies that aren't really mummies at all, just grinning skeletons, posed in agonized positions, that come back in nightmares to haunt me. Later, along the green banks of a quiet river in Oaxaca, Matt and I make friends with a boy named Pancho, who rides his own burro, a donkey that makes me so envious I can't believe Pancho envies me. He thinks my city life with cars and bicycles must be so much more exciting than his donkey. Is there any way that two people from faraway places can ever really understand each other's daydreams? This poem connects to me in a lot of ways, and to my experiences at Cedar Lane. I've come to ponder other people's perspectives and beliefs constantly, and as a result, I feel I've been exposed to many more ideas and wonderful people than some of my peers outside of church. I like that listening to what someone else has to say not only adds variety and excitement to my life, but it also causes me to reflect on my opinions, their origins, and their significance to me. Thank you all for enriching my life as UU.
So I thought about writing something that would make me cry, but I was counting on Joanna for that, so I decided not to do that. But anyways, trees have always fascinated me, mostly due to the fact that they seem to be in an endless cycle through which they grow, fed by their own creations. Every year, the tree grows stronger, sprouting new branches and leaves. As the leaves grow, they become truly individual, with their many veins and perfect imperfections, despite the fact that they all come from the same tree. Time passes and summer turns to fall. The leaves begin to depart, one by one falling to the ground, some landing near and others farther off. As the seasons drift aimlessly into the next and years slip by, the leaves begin to decompose, filling the soil around the trees with new nutrients that will allow it to continue to grow stronger and produce more and more leaves year after year. As I attempt to prepare myself to leave this church, the place I have called my home for the past 9 years, prepare to say goodbye to some of my closest friends, friendships I know will last me a lifetime, prepare to hug my many mentors and blow kisses to the families I have grown so close to I could call them my own, I am reminded of the tree's cycles. I see my peers and myself as the leaves falling from the tree of the Cedar Lane community this year. Some will land near, and others will land farther off, but we all have been and will all be contributing to building and strengthening this community, which has surely played a part in making us who we are today. As we prepare to continue this cycle, ready ourselves to land in a field of leaves and begin to figure out how to pay back this community that has given us so much, I want to thank you and leave you with a quote. The American author Samuel R. Delany once wrote, "Endings, to be useful, must be inconclusive."
At this point, I'd like to invite our graduating seniors to process to the back of the sanctuary, including Rashad Balashov. in preparation for the bridging. The bridging ceremony is a uniquely UU rite of passage that began in the 1990s as a way of honoring the passage of our youth into the next phase of their spiritual journey. It is a time when many of them will leave their home and congregation to go to other places for their college, into careers, and possibly into new families. It is a time of tremendous change and possibly stress for our youth.
A bridge has two sides. One is childhood and adolescence, where they've become leaders and role models for their younger friends and acquaintances. And the other, this stressful side, is the scary yet exciting frontier of adulthood, full of boundless opportunities and new challenges. Our bridging ceremony welcomes these bright, energetic, fabulous young people into the rewards and responsibilities of adult life.
We, the adult members of this congregation, stand on the other side with our arms open to welcome them, our minds prepared to mentor and learn from them, and our hearts prepared to share life together with them.
So what we're going to do to this is actually make a bridge for them to walk through. So what I invite you to do is to rise in body or in spirit, and then face the center aisle. If you're in the aisle seats, hold up your arms to make a bridge. And if you're behind them, hold up your arms also, reaching towards. And this is the bridge under which our youth will progress. Now let the bridging begin. Please hold your applause until all of the bridgers have come forward. Let us now make space for this year's bridgers.
I invite the 8th graders to come to the stage to receive your pin from Reverend Michelle as your name is called, and then bridge into our 12th graders in the back of the sanctuary. Piper Vernon Clay. Don't step on the guitar. Thank you.
Here you go.
Natalia Dunn.
Good, now through the bridge.
Julian Green. Nick Levchenko. Mia Ellis. Ian Becker. You may relax your arms. Thank you for building that bridge. We will build it one more time after these words. Today we honor the youth among us, you who are stepping beyond and away and toward. Today we share in your journey and encourage your discovery. Today we welcome your energy and offer you a safe place to grow.
Today we celebrate your hopes and dreams. Come live, breathe, thrive, and rejoice. Your time is now. Today we applaud you for all you have been, for all you are now, and for all that you will be.
Today marks an ending so that you may begin again to hope and do and learn and be.
Today you cross this bridge to go and explore with curiosity and with wonder. We will support and nurture you. You are the present and the future.
Today you cross this bridge. Go now and make choices that make you happy. We will support and nurture you. You are amazing. I would now like to invite our youth advisor, Gwen and Brent, to join us to receive the 12th grade bridgers here at the front of the sanctuary after they have bridged. Now I invite the congregation again to build that beautiful bridge.
Here, if you'll
Please
hold.
come forward as you hear your name.
And I'll hand them.
Keegan Vernon Clay. Elise Nikolic. Sophia King. Alex Green. Alex Lawrenson. Joanna Kleindinst. Walter Ellis V. Sarah Becker. Rashad Balashov. Zoe Persons. Yashivi Janamanchi. Thank you very much for the bridge. You may be seated.
Now I invite you to join in a responsive reading. The words for your response are in your order of celebration. During your childhood and youth, we provided you with religious education programs and guided you in finding your own spiritual path. May your roots hold you close and your wings set you free.
Many of us hope that your path will keep you in Unitarian Universalism, and we honor your ongoing search for truth and meaning as it leads you ever more to understanding, compassion, and justice.
May your roots hold you close and your wings set you free. We've treasured your voice in our sanctuary and in our halls when you sang, when you laughed, when you cried, and when you questioned. May your roots hold me close and your wings set you free.
We hope you will return to us often so we can hear your voice again and so we can remind you of how much we cherish you.
May your roots hold you close and your wings set you free. We have tried to give you the gift of a place to belong, a place of warmth and caring and challenge and growth. May your roots hold you close and your wings set you free.
We hope that you will find more places to belong to as you travel far on your many adventures. And we hope that you know that you will always, always have a home here.
May your roots hold you close and your wings set you free.
Hello. I have a little message to deliver to our graduating class. All right. As Unitarian Universalists, our mission in life is to be constantly seeking out the truth on our journey. Your journey has only just begun. And all the other juniors, including myself, are honored to have been a part of all your lives. It's okay. Through all the ups and downs of high school that we've all carried each other through, we are grateful for all of your guidance and support. With you, we feel comfortable and accepted, and we have so many good memories. As you know, we've gone on so many trips together and collaborated on so many church events, and I know we've all really bonded. I know we've all formed friendships that'll last a really long time, and we're really gonna miss you all when you leave for college or wherever you're going at the end of the summer. I hope you're happy wherever you go. I hope your lives are everything you dreamed they would be. If a door closes on you, I hope another one opens. I hope you're never afraid to make a few mistakes along your way. I know it may seem difficult and that most of you probably don't know exactly what you're going to go do. But I have faith that all of you will go out into the world and do something big. As Oprah Winfrey once said, sometimes you find out what you're supposed to do by doing the things that you're not supposed to do. And I know that you all are very capable of doing things that you are not supposed to do. Anyway, always remember that you have a place to come back to. Because, Joanna, it's not the end, it's not the beginning of the end, but it's the end of the beginning. I've gotten used to seeing you all every Sunday, and I'm going to miss you all so much. We have to keep in mind, though, that this isn't a goodbye. It's just to see you later. Whew. So with that in mind, we are so proud of every single one of you, and I'll see you next Sunday.
A year from now we'll all be gone. All our friends will move away, and they're going to better places. But our friends will be gone away. Nothing is as it has been, and I miss your face like hell. And I guess it's just as well that I miss your face like hell. Don't